A very good evening to all the participants. I would like to first thank ET government to organize this virtual e-governance summit today. In the days of pandemic COVID-19, which has caught the whole world in its grip, the situation has become extraordinary, like what we have never seen earlier. And I pray and hope that such a situation do not occur in future. When for the first time in our country, we started seeing erupting of the cases in early March, and a Janta curfew was appealed by the Honorable Prime Minister on 22nd of March. Maybe that kind of participation had not been seen when the whole nation was completely set into the lockdown. All activities were halted for a day. Thereafter, from 25th March onwards, we had series of lockdowns, and now we have entered the next series of unlockdown, which started from 1st of June. The unlockdown 1.0, but for the containment area. All other areas are fully unlocked. So from Jaan hai to Jahan hai, say Jaan bhi or Jahan bhi. So all the economic activities are back to the gear. Here, if you see the trend, most of the COVID cases have been confined in the urban areas. Maybe the first 30 cities, they count for more than 80% of the cases. Some 5 states cover the maximum number of almost like 80% of the cases, 83% of the cases are just from 5 states: Maharashtra, Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan. So we need to see that what is that which can be done so that the life comes back to the normal. At the same time, people are not at risk. The initial action by our government, and where there was a complete unison, whether it was the central government, the state government, on the call of the Honorable Prime Minister, everybody agreed to go for a lockdown. That was essential for preparedness. That was essential so that an outbreak, what we were seeing in some of the European countries, in the USA, in some of the Asian countries, the way it was, the whole thing is erupted with such a fast pace, where we are not even fully prepared. We didn't have the PPE kits, we didn't have enough ventilators, not enough facilities for the quarantine or for the treatment of those who have got this virus. It was very essential for us to prepare. Think of it, if the lockdown was not there, the kind of number would have come and the kind of devastation it would have in the country. Currently, because of the series of the lockdowns, we have the least percentage of the people who are impacted, least percentage of the fatality across the globe among all the countries. In fact, we are one of the best performing countries for the management of COVID-19. But then, at that time, our cities had multiple roles to play. The first and the foremost was maintaining the cleanliness and hygiene. From my ministry, on 21st of March, we issued the first guidelines, followed with another guidelines on 26th of March. We are very fortunate that the Swachh Bharat Mission was started in 2014, and it has really shown its impact, the work which we have done in the last 5-6 years. Had that not been there, possibly during the lockdown or after the lockdown, you would have had series of other kinds of problems which are because of the unhygienic conditions. But we had our Swachhta warriors, our Swachhta soldiers fully ready to take care of the hygiene and the cleanliness in the cities. In fact, I would like to thank people that they have appreciated the good work. A lot of positive stories have come. I mean, it is the medical staff, they serve the people in the medical centers, in the hospitals, but our Swachhta warriors, they made sure that those who were impacted, their garbage, their municipal waste was collected and incinerated in a separate form. They did this at the risk of their own getting infection, so they took all the care and necessary precautions so that they did not catch this particular infection. And the things were incinerated. This happened all across the country. We have now almost like 65% of the waste is fully scientifically processed. We have also instances of use of drones for sanitization of the place, use of technology for making sure that, I mean, all the public places are fully sanitized. When the people come back to the public places after the unlockdown, they are exposed to the list. Then, thanks to our self-help group workers, our street vendors who were engaged by the states and the urban local bodies to provide the supply chain. In fact, some of the SHG members, I mean, they have lakhs of masks have been prepared by them. Many lakhs liters of sanitizers have been prepared by SHG members, manufactured by them, and it has been distributed by the urban local body to the people. So they came to a big aid. They also became very important member of the supply chain in providing various kinds of food and various kinds of other materials to the public. Then our smart cities, I mean, they have played a very, very important role, especially the 47 cities which have got smart command and control centers, which were converted into COVID war room. They have showed how the information can be collected, passed on the people, so that there is not rumors are not there. People are given the correct information. Management of different kind of logistic, whether it is the food or different kind of supplies. Management of the manpower. Management of various kinds of facilities. I mean, the different kinds of facilities are used here. Then also used as a telemedicine. I mean, used as a teleconferencing between the two parties, the doctor and the patient. They need not go to the patient directly. I mean, one can see sitting in the central command and control room and provide all kinds of guidance to that. Use of this as a tracker. And also for prediction. I mean, like Bangalore, a smart city, along with the IC Bangalore and those from the industry, they have come out with a predictive model. They can see how it is going to progress. So the smart cities came out with a lot of such innovative ideas, which has been replicated in many other cities. And I'm very happy that another 32 cities are ready to launch, almost ready to launch their smart command and control center. And it has really proved its worth in management of the COVID-19. And it has shown how innovatively this can be used for any other thing, even for, say, education, smart education, for various other facilities. Now, this unlock down has started. We have resumed most of our work. I would like to thank the real estate industry that they got their workers, construction workers, held up at the site. They took good care of them. Good number of them have gone back, but now some of them have started coming back. Our real estate industry is, I mean, they are giving some kind of attractive packages so that they can come back and start the work. Our metro projects, regional rapid transport works of the CPWD, works of the NBCC, they were all held up. The works have started, not at the full swing. Slowly, the work is, because as the labor come back, and I'm sure it will take another couple of months before they come back. When things become completely normal, they will come back. So even with the thin attendance, they are working on the different kinds of projects. Our Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, where there's so much of progress almost 65 lakhs of housing projects, they have been grounded, and out of them 35 lakhs are completed and delivered. But the balance 30 lakhs which are under construction, the work have been started slowly. I mean, there's definitely this is going to impact because of our labor has gone back. But recently, we have started taking two more new steps. One related to street vendors, where the street vendors who have almost like they have lost their job because all that working capital they had, they have got consumed. But on 1st of June, a PM Swanidhi scheme, that is street vendor Atmanirbhar Nidhi scheme, where they will be given a working capital of 10,000 rupees, and on timely payment or early payment, they get a 7% of the interest subvention. On use of digital payment, they get a cashback up to 100 rupees per month. And that way, it effectively becomes like a loan at zero interest. The guidelines have already been issued. We are working on a completely IT-based platform where every street vendor, without going from here and there, they can get facility of this loan, whether it is getting the loan or repayment of the loan. All these things are going to be automated. We are working on system, and I'm sure early July we are going to launch the system so that loaning of this PM Swanidhi scheme, which is expected to benefit nearly 50 lakhs street vendors working in the urban area, whether they're from the urban area, the rural area, there's going to start. We are also working on a scheme which will lead to this is happening for the first time in the country. This is like Swanidhi scheme. The street vendors are being benefited for the first time. I mean, this kind of thing. Otherwise, we know that instances where they get loan from the private people as high as 200 to 500% per annum. Maybe on days rate, I mean, you pay for 100 rupees, you just get 98, and end of the day, you have to pay this, like that. And similarly, absolutely new scheme, which is going to be affordable rental housing complexes, which was announced by the Honorable Finance Minister on 15th of May during the Atmanirbhar various, I mean, there was a series of announcements by the Honorable Finance Minister. One of them was affordable rental housing complexes, and we are working on it. I'm sure very soon we are going to come up with two models where utilizing the residential complexes already constructed by the government and there is still vacant. Under the public-private partnership, we will get a concessionaire, prepare such kind of terms and conditions so that the concessionaire, for them, it's a good business, and this can be given as affordable rental housing for the urban poor or the urban migrants. Or the second, we are developing a kind of ecosystem where a private entity or a public entity, private entity means maybe a hospital, maybe a institution, maybe a factory, a business unit, if they have got a land, available land, which is vacant land, or a public entity like the Development Authority, PSU, or a maybe a board like a housing board, if they have got a land available, using that land, I mean, the land use can be changed, and some incentives on the FAR and various other fiscal incentive can be given. So we are creating an ecosystem through which the private and public entities, they will be encouraged to develop some kind of affordable rental housing complexes where there may be single bedroom apartments or there may be dormitories of the size of 4 or 6. So that normally you find that when a person comes from the rural area to the urban area, or maybe from a small town to the big town, he is trying to save maximum. And where he cuts down his consumption. He cuts down on his expenditure on housing. He compromises to stay in the slums, stay in the informal settlements, or stay on the periphery of the city, in peri-urban areas, in the rural areas. And for that, he has to spend a lot of time on the road, either on cycling or walking or using some public transport, exposing his is directly detrimental to his health. So we are trying to create an environment, trying to create a system in which he gets accommodation right next to his working place, and that way he can be very productive, whether in business, industry, or in service sector, or even for the students. They get accommodation at a very affordable cost. So these are the new initiatives which were announced by the Honorable Finance Minister as a part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat. We are trying to create, working on such reforms to make our urban local bodies more self-dependent, improve their revenue, improve their accounting system, and make them invest. If they use their resources properly, possibly they can be instrumental in getting the citizens a better quality of life and ease of living for the citizens. So this COVID-19, on the one side, it has put us into huge challenges. Resources have been strained. Various things which were, the way we were moving, it has halted many things. But on the other side, there has been huge learning. We started seeing new things, started seeing how we can do the same thing in a different way, in a more innovative way. Like as I said, street vendors, this was a new learning, and we saw that we need to work on this community, which is so essential to the urban area. We can't live without them, whether it is for vegetable or fruits or providing various kinds of facilities, services in the urban areas, or providing a rental housing to the poor. Also, use of technology in a big way. Today I'm able to talk to you using this platform without being physically there. This kind of thing was not there only maybe 3-4 months back. It was there, but we were not using it. During the lockdown, from the home, sitting at home, I've been talking to the real estate, talking to the state principal secretaries, talking to the municipal commissioners, continuously being engaging with different kinds of stakeholders in addressing the issues which has come out of the lockdown. These are the new learnings. Now, most of our work is happening through the e-system. The percent, earlier, suppose whatever was there, now that number has increased. So I think post-COVID, this kind of a learning, we have to go for use of IT in a very, very big way. E-commerce has been there. The GEM system has been there. Now we are encouraging every work in the government to go on the GEM system, so that we use this IT platform, and there are various advantages out of that. So I think this National Governance Summit, which ET government has organized with a lot of participants with their expertise and knowledge, they will deliberate on what are the learning and how to take the country forward. Honorable Prime Minister had earlier put the target of taking this country from a $3 trillion economy to $5 trillion economy by 2024. And then to $10 trillion economy by 2030, making this country a developed country by 2047. These are the dreams of the Honorable Prime Minister. Please don't think that this is not possible. In fact, now it has become much more possible. When he addressed making the country Atmanirbhar, the self-reliant, then we have to realign, rethink, see that what is that we can do, how differently we can do, so that we can become so self-reliant. In a country of 1.35 billion people, how they can use their strength in making this country move faster towards becoming self-reliance and towards serving the whole of the world, and which has been shown very positively in various fields in a very short period during the COVID. But now the opportunities are galore. It's just a question of seeing it that way, seeing it with that positive angle, what we get that direction from the top. So my best wishes to all those who are participating in today's discussion. I hope your deliberation will be very, very useful, and it will come out with specific recommendations in respect of making this country self-reliant. Self-reliant is, doesn't mean that we do not use anything which is foreign. In fact, the foreign companies can come and set up their manufacturing here, and from here they can export. You have to be vocal for local. It should be made in India. The made in India could be, any multinational who is working here and he makes in India. And he, like for example, in the field of metros, now we have got the Alstom and Bombardier located in India. And I really feel proud when Alstom metro coaches are going to Australia, going to South Africa, going to the various other parts of Asia, Africa, and other countries, even into Europe. Bombardier coaches are going there. So whatever we are manufacturing here in India, we are not only manufacturing for our own consumption, we could be the major consumers, but it is also being exported outside. So we support the rest of the world, and that is how the country will get developed. So I wish all the very best to those who are participating today in this discussion on national governance leading to self-reliant India, leading to a $5 trillion and $10 trillion economy, leading to a place where we provide ease of living to our citizens, the best quality of life to our citizens, allow everyone to realize themselves, to get best out of them for the development of the nation. Thank you.